Hi Gianluca, so we've got your last set of essays. This one is about energy, so let's get right into it. Okay, the issue of the global increment of sustainable energy has grown in importance over the last 2 decades. Some believe that is a good solution because it's cheaper and more environmentally friendly. Others think that is not enough to assure us safe energy supplies. Okay, so there are a couple of problems with these first 2 sentences, and I want to deal with that before we move on. The first problem is this expression here, global increment of sustainable energy. It doesn't really make sense. It's not an expression or a collocation that is recognizable to English speakers, so you need to really do something about this. I think global increment is the problem, okay? So that's the first thing. The second problem is that you've left out the word it in a couple of different places in the next sentence. So some believe that it is a good solution because it is cheaper and more environmentally friendly. Now, then the next problem here is that basically you've got 2 sentences here. You've combined them just with a comma, but a comma is not enough because they're 2 opposite ideas. So when you do this, it's not enough to just combine them with a comma, but you have to have some sort of a linking device that shows contrast. So a however would have worked here. All right, so however, others, plural, think that it, again, is not enough to assure safe energy supplies. Personally, I believe that it certainly has, because it has some efficiency drawbacks. However, the benefits in terms of cost and sustainability are more relevant, and the technology related to it should be developed to meet energy security needs. This essay will discuss both views, giving examples from General Electric's and European Union. It should be the European Union. To demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, that's fine. The rest of it was fine. You could see I read it really easily. There were no problems there. Okay. On the one hand, it is a proven fact that green energy's production plants, this should be singular because it's acting as an adjective. Green energy production plants. Okay, what kind of production plants? Green energy. So it's an adjective, it must be singular. They are less efficient and produce a lower amount of energy than fossil fuel powered energy plants. As a result, if nations should depend only on this type of energy, it could not be enough. It would, not it could, it would. I don't know why you did should. In other words, you're making it less likely. All right, I guess that's okay. So if nations should depend only on this type of energy, it would not be enough for important productive areas or buildings such as hospitals, airports, industries. We don't use "an" in front of empirical research. It's uncountable, so just get rid of "an." So empirical research by General Electric estimated that with current technology, renewable energy production plants are 30% less efficient than coal-fired power plants. Consistent with this line of thinking is that renewables depend on weather conditions. As a consequence, they are not reliable to be a country's main energy source. This is exemplified by another GE study that found, you didn't need a comma here, that found that the daily amount of energy production of a solar plant varies up to 40%. Thus, it is conclusively clear that green energy is not a safe option to sustain bigger energy needs. Lovely. This is really nice. You've got a lot of nice vocabulary here. Really well supported. So I liked this. I don't think there's anything I would have taken out. I think you had asked me in your previous essay, in your previous email, if you could somehow make your, if you could make your writing a little more concise. I think that if there was one place I would have, maybe cut something out, it would have been here. All right. I think you could have made some of this less wordy. All right. You could have made it a little more concise, and that would have maybe saved you a little bit of time. But as far as this is concerned, I thought you did a nice job. And no, to be honest with you, there isn't really anything I would have taken out here. I thought you did a good job of extending. All right. So let's move on. On the other hand, sustainable energies such as wind turbines, solar panels, and geothermal plants are much more affordable in terms of costs and environmental impact. Firstly, with modern technologies, production costs are highly reduced. Consumer, it should be singular again for the reason I said before. It's an adjective here. It's describing what kind of research. So as an adjective, it has to be singular. So consumer research showed that the costs of 100, I guess this is kilowatts, I don't even know, of green produced energy is 30% lower than its unsustainable counterparts. Secondly, producing energy using the wind or the sun decreases the amount of atmosphere altering gases released. An EU study found that of all energy production in plants, I don't know what this means, in plants, you mean plants, I think, just plants without the M, were modernized to be sustainable, greenhouse gases would reduce by 70%. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the benefits coming from producing more sustainable energy are of utmost importance, both for consumers and the environment. Lovely. I really like this last sentence. Your last sentences are actually really nice because they use some really lovely language like this, sustain bigger energy needs, even though I'm not really a big fan of the word big. There are certain words in IELTS that I never really want to see. They're big, small, good, bad, nice, just because there's so many more descriptive and more precise words you could use. And these just feel really basic. So you could have made this larger to sustain greater energy needs. So those would have been better words here. However, that said, I still thought this was a great sentence. It was a nice, strong way to end your paragraph, just as this is. Look, here are of utmost importance for both consumers and the environment. That's lovely. That's really nice language. And so you're doing a really good job of ending your paragraphs on a nice high note, okay? So, to conclude from the arguments and examples S here given, I firmly believe that despite the disadvantages in terms of efficiency, green energy is the only solution we should consider for our future. Both governments and energy suppliers should put more efforts in developing renewable energy-related technologies to overcome present production inefficiency. Lovely, lovely. This is really good. I'm really happy with this. Were there some mistakes? Yeah, there were, but they weren't really serious. So I thought it was a very well done essay. I hope that you managed to do it in 40 minutes. Let's see. All right, it's 415 words, so clearly it's well over the 250. So I imagine it took you quite a bit of time. But like I said, I was really pleased with it. I thought it was very well developed, and you had some really nice examples of language. It was very tightly structured. It was cohesive, so I thought you did a great job. Okay, congratulations. It was really well done. So let's move on to your map. I know people hate maps because they just don't know what to do with them, but let's see what you did here. The two maps above compare, careful with your grammar. Look, compare the before and the after of an island that has been developed for tourism. The island is about 200 meters long, okay, and 80 meters, not large, maybe wide, or can't say tall, that's for sure. You could say in width, how about that, is about 200 meters in length and 80 meters in width. You could have done that, saying that this is the width and this is the length, perhaps. That would have been a better way to say this, okay? In the before maps, no buildings could be seen, and the island was basically empty, with the exception of some vegetation in the northwest, north, northeast, and southern side. In addition, there was also a beach in its western shore. That's very good. I'm so happy you did that, because most people don't. They just go straight into the after, which is not a good idea. I mean, they've put the map here, the before version, because they want you to talk about it. If it's there for a reason, and you did exactly what you should have done, so good. Okay, in the after map, major changes have occurred all over the island. Almost all the vegetation was cut down, with the exception of that in the north and northeast side. Small accommodation buildings were built on the western side. Okay, while in the center part, bigger edifices, such as hotels and other touristic facilities, were constructed. The eastern part of the island was developed with other accommodation buildings constructed in a circular shape. Great. Ultimately, a small artificial lake was created in the far eastern coast, while in the southern side a pier was built to host small boats. All the buildings in the areas are linked by footpaths or vehicle tracks. Overall, it can be clearly seen that the island has seen significant changes between the first and second map. The entire place was developed for touristic purposes, as it is suggested by the types of buildings that were built. This is wonderful. Congratulations. That was exactly how it should have been done. Great. I have no complaints. You could see any sort of comments I made were just grammatical, like a couple of little silly things like here. But other than that, you did exactly what you should have done. You included every piece of information. I could follow it. I I didn't have to look at the map in order to understand what you were describing. I actually liked what you did. You didn't get into too much detail about these footpaths and vehicle tracks, but that was good because what you did is you focused on the really important features. Okay, so you had on the accommodation, the 2 areas, you mentioned it was circular. I mean, it was a great response. So, Gianluca, congratulations. I think you're doing very well. I'm really happy with this. Let's see. No, I don't really have any other comments. Like I said, it was a very solid answer. My one question again is how long did this take you? Because I know you've been concerned about your time. Let's see, this was 220 words, which I'm okay with that too. Typically, you want to aim for about 200 words, but even with 220, I have no problems because there was nothing that I thought could have been left out. You really did focus on the important things here, and you highlighted them, and like I said, I was really happy about it. So, well done. I know how hard you've been working, and it's showing. Okay, it's definitely paying off. So now my question to you is, what's next? I don't remember if you've told us what your IELTS plans are, when you plan to take the exam. Do you have some time before your exam? If you do, then I want to encourage you to keep working with us through just essay correction packages. We do have some. So you may want to consider signing up for one of those so that you can continue working with us and you can continue practicing writing, because it's a skill that you really shouldn't just stop now that the course is over. I do want to see more essays from you to make sure that you're keeping up all this progress that you've been making. Okay, so see if that's something you can do. Either way, just let us know what your plans are, so we know what you're doing. All right, and congratulations, you've been working really hard. So like I said, it's really paid off. So I hope to see more work from you, but do let us know what you plan to do. Good luck.